Hello friends, I thought I would share with you a recent cover I put on a used book that I'm turning into an altered book art journal for some paint sketches. So first order of business was to sand the outside. It had kind of a real smooth covering to it. And you would want to do that if you were going to paint it, or if you're going to do what I do in the demo here, which is glue a new cover onto this piece with some gel medium. So I decided I wanted to use some old palette pages, or those kind of papers you keep that you put underneath things. And I had this really old one sitting around that I like the feel in the hands. It just has some life to it because I've literally been using it for years. And so I went ahead and began to tear the edges because I wanted a little bit of a torn edge. And when you have a book like this that has a nice binding, like tape on the edge or perhaps a linen, it makes it really easy to do this without having to go over that binded edge with the whole piece of paper, which you can do, but that gets a little problematic sometimes. So I like to do it this way, where you do one cover on the front and one cover on the back and see what comes of it. So just ripping the pieces there to approximately the right size. I do no like fussy measurements here. And then using, of course, a nice thick gel medium in order to glue this down. This was a painted piece, pretty thick itself of the paper, and so I wanted it to really adhere well, so that thick gel medium will serve that purpose well. And then using my brayer, of course, to push that glue around underneath and get a nice flat fit with it. And then when I flipped it over to do the fold over for the inside of it, again, it's just going to come over like a wrapped present or something there. A little bit of that gel medium, fold it, making sure your seams are nice on the corners, using that brayer if you have one, or just anything else you can kind of roll over it like a highlighter or a credit card even. And then I go ahead and I clip my corners here, because those corners can be a little problematic when you fold those sides in. So you get the idea, just putting that gel medium down, making sure it's a nice tight seal, and of course you can lay the book shut overnight if you like, or just a few hours. I put a piece of deli paper in so that the glue, if it seeped out, it's not going to stick to the page in there. And then I flipped over and began to do the other side. Same idea. A little bit of repetition there. I liked that there's a little gold edge that hit that blue toward the binding edge. It's real nice. So folding those edges in. This is such an easy thing to do and a great way to dress up a sketchbook or an art journal or any sort of used book that you might turn into a book for those purposes. And then I wanted to do that spine. And so I had a strip of paper and decided I was just going to glue that on, leaving some of the blue of that original binding still showing, of course, from the original book. But using that gel medium to give it a real nice adhesion and a real smooth, kind of almost seamless feel, as the edge of my cover paper here hits the actual book itself. Bringing that to size. I didn't want any of that edge to have to bend over on the spine, because I knew it would stick better and I wouldn't catch it then as I used the book. If it just left a little bit of edge on the spine. And that really seemed to be the nice finishing touch right there. So I picked this book because the pages within it were really matte. There's a little texture to them, and they each have a color. And of course there's a weird image and a little saying, but I liked the quality of the paper. It was nice and thick, and I thought it would be fun to play with colors or oil pastels on it. And so right here, you see me getting started.